Today, I'm going to share with you a very specific example by boosting my NAD levels. I take NMN from DoNotAge, and by boosting my NAD levels, I've been able to return back to what I was doing 30 years ago. I have a project called Profits on TV that had a hit song 35 years ago in Argentina that I've decided to resurrect because I have a lot more energy and focus thanks to NAD boosting. Now, this song was recorded 5 years after that. It was from when I'd already moved on to doing sort of Euro-flavored hip-hop dance music for other artists. But at that point, I'm still 30 years old, and I'm still producing music, and I'm doing it on the side. Yeah, I'm doing other work, but I'm doing it for money, for record labels in Germany. And sort of on a whim, just to sort of please myself or prove that I could still do it, I went back to my artist days and I wrote a song called Everlasting. So I'll play you a clip from the cassette that I unearthed recently in a box of cassette tapes. It was on the back of one of them. I didn't even know I still had it. I found this song, Everlasting, and I'd been thinking about it over the years, 30 years basically, remembering this song, thinking about using it when I started this project again a couple of years ago when I revived this project. So here's a clip from that cassette.
I want to hold you until the day that I die. I plan to get my way. Although all I am is a man, I hope to give you all I can. Maybe one day I will be everlasting. Long live my words, I will be molded, casting, buried inside the earth.
So that was me at age 30, returning to what I was doing at age 22, 23, 24, somewhere around there. It's a song that I like. I like the hook. I like that catchiness of it. I like the dance beat. I liked that song, but I never was able to recapture the sounds or the energy for any of those years, for 30 years, until now. And so now I'll share with you a clip of the same song, redone and re-recorded, and now with final production as it's going to go on my new album that I'm working on. And here I am cutting some of the vocals for the final mix.
I want to hold you until the day that I die. I plan to get my way. Although all I am is a man, I hope to give you all I can. Maybe one day I will be everlasting. Long live my words, I will be molded, casting, buried inside the earth, smarter than Socrates. Remember me, stronger than Hercules, when I am everlasting.
So that's what I'm doing. That's a taste of what I'm working on. And I want to tell you, I've not been able to recapture that kind of a sound or energy for really the whole 25 years. Like from age 30 to age 55 is really the window we're talking about where there was nothing happening that sounded like that. And basically, it wasn't a kind of music that you would probably sell during that time, and even now it's questionable. Well, now there is some interest in 80s style music, so I'm going back to an era that a lot of people, young people now, are recording music like this now, actually. But for me, it hasn't been possible. Now, what did happen was at age 35, I looked in the mirror and I said, hey, I think I could still do this. And I had a lot of false starts like that. Again, at age 40, look in the mirror, I thought I could still do this. And I'd have a false start. And it would just quickly fall apart. After a few days, I'd go back to whatever I was doing, work and family. And again, at 45, I looked in the mirror and I said, I can still do this. Look at me. I still look young enough to do this. And then at 50 years old, I'd look in the mirror and I say, I could still do this. But I never did. They were false starts. So it remained this sort of back burner dream. I kept telling myself, at some point, I could lose some weight. I could get back to making music and I could go to Argentina because I had since found out about this song having success in Argentina. And I thought, well, I could go back there and do this. At age 55, I looked in the mirror and I realized that's it. Squash the dream. It's over. It's done. It's not going to happen. A year later, I started boosting my NAD levels after doing some research about David Sinclair, mostly talking about this. And then I found DoNotAge, and then I became an affiliate, and I started making videos. Now I've made 250 or more videos, talking about how I felt. But behind the scenes, and I've mentioned it in other videos, but behind the scenes, I've been returning to music, back to what I was doing when I was 20 to 25 to 30 years old. I'm going to try to explain to you the process that I have to go through to make a song like this, what I had to go through for Everlasting, which is a recreation of a song that I was never able to recreate before until I boosted my NAD levels, as I said. The first step is write the song. Well, in this case, the song was already written. Right? I had some verses. I had a complete song. But typically what I've been going through now for the 12 songs that I'm now on song 9 of, I'm going to put 10 songs on an album and have a couple extra for bonus tracks and maybe B-sides. So typically I have to write the song, then I have to complete the chord changes. Now there's 7 steps I'm going to go over with you here. I could do any one of these except for one from age 30 to 55 and did. I did for other artists, sometimes for myself, these steps, but never all of them as an artist, or never being involved in all of them. So after I write the song, which is usually a verse and a chorus, I'll then complete the chords, because a lot of times I'm writing a verse and a chorus, sometimes over no music at all, so I need some music behind it. I have to go find those chords. Each one of those steps requires quite a bit of time typically and focus. Sometimes the songs come very fast. In this case, I already had a demo, right? But completing all the chord changes and then finding the sounds for the song, very tedious job. That's where I would run out of gas. That's where the false start, looking in the mirror, wasn't enough, right? Just wanting to do it wasn't enough. You got to be able to do that legwork to get it done, and I'll explain more. The third step for me is the arrangement. So once I've got the chords, now I have to fill in the song. A verse and a chorus is not enough. And what many people do, and what I did many times, is copy and paste a chorus. So you get a chorus and you just copy and paste it. But that's not really a production that is going to pass the mustard, right? So now what I'm doing on Everlasting and all these other songs is the complete song. I'm cutting enough vocals so that I have a different take for each chorus, or one take all the way through with maybe a couple things replaced from other takes. Usually I try to find one solid take or two so that the flow is there. But I haven't had any issues replacing parts of other takes, so that's been going pretty well. And that's typically how it's done. So the arrangement's done, and then I get to the part about the takes, which is the final production. This part I couldn't have done previous to NMN NAD boosting. I couldn't have done it previous to DoNotAge. It was just too much. I'd run out of steam, because you got to find all the sounds that work. You got to tediously go through for hours and find what works, not just throw something at a song, but find what actually fits the concept, and then record the music and record the vocals and make a rough mix, which you just heard a clip of. Recording the vocals for me was another step I wasn't doing for 25 years. I wasn't doing for 30 years, because even that song that I played you was a demo. Like, it wasn't final vocals. And so now I'm able to have the focus to go through all these steps since NAD boosting over and over again, rehearse the song, sing the song through till I have a clean. Now, we'll pitch correct here and there, but it's got to be a clean take. It's got to be a usable take. Like, it could be, these takes that I have could be released. and would have been released 30 years ago before auto-tune. But there is some tuning, fine-tuning that goes on now, but that's not enough. I can't just rely on the tuning and have something that sounds pretty good. If you hear tuning on this album, it's intentional. Like it's for effect on a couple songs. If you hear tuning specifically, that auto-tune sound, it's done intentionally for a couple songs and not the whole song, just some spots for taste. And so I'm working on these next steps, which are mix related and mastering related with other engineers. And I need to send them something that they'll put their name on. Specifically the mix guy, probably the mastering guy wouldn't mind. He's very pro. He's one of the top 3 mastering guys in the world. So I'm not selling him short at all. It's just that mastering guys are mastering, right? But mix guys are not going to put their name on something that they don't like or they don't feel is good enough. So I have to take the demo, which is that third step, the arrangement, and I'll send that. I don't have to, but I do because I want him to approve it because I don't want to run into a logjam later where he says, "Why did you do all this work? I don't even like this song. I don't want my name on it." I haven't had that happen. Matter of fact, Justin and I first started speaking 5 years ago when I started taking NMN, and I started playing him old music from when I was 20, 22, and he liked it. And he said, if you do some new stuff like this, I would mix it. So now I am doing the stuff, and I went back to Justin. I said, I'm doing this stuff now. And he's mixing it, and he's approving these songs. That's a big step for me that I couldn't have done for those 25 years. I don't have a single recording from age 30 to age 55 that I think Justin would approve. I really don't. There may be some demos that he'd say, hey, that's interesting, but I don't think I do. Even less so, do I have any final productions where I could send him the stems that he'll mix and accept those. So he's not just accepted the songs, he's accepted the final mixes. He's accepted the final productions, where he says, okay, send me the stems for that. I can mix that. And that's step 5. Making those stems takes 2 to 3 hours if you want to do it right. Yeah, you can batch process stems, but I meticulously go through each one to make sure it's the way he's going to want them. And that takes time. And that takes focus. And that takes energy. And I didn't do that I can just tell you I didn't do that from age 30 to 55. I wasn't bouncing stems per se. I knew the function of it. I knew how to do it. I do it for other artists. Like I said, I could do any one of these steps, but I never did all of them. And when he's done with it, which is some more back and forth, on a couple occasions he said, well, give me another synth part for here or there to sort of complete things, or another vocal for here or something like that. Other than that, that's usually the back and forth of me saying hey, can you adjust this? Can you turn down this? Can you turn up that? That's the mix process. That I don't get involved with hands-on. That's Justin's territory. And he does a fine job with that. And on the final project, you'll hear his final mix of Everlasting. And then you'll also hear the mastering. Now, I was a mastering guy for 10 years, and I'm using Marsh Mastering, Stephen Marsh. He's in LA. He's one of the top guys in the world at this. He's excellent, and he is the guy that Justin wants to work with, and I knew about him. I went up against him. I was competitive. I don't even know how well. He knew that I was mastering, but I don't know how well he knew of me. I was never at his level, and I wouldn't want to master my own project anyway, but I was never quite at his level, really, to be honest. The guy's really, really good. And we'll see. We'll see what you guys think, what others think when we get all the way done. But I'm proud of how it's coming out. I feel good about this, and I am so grateful for NMN and a deboosting, DoNotAge, because without those tools without that empowering protocol, I would never be able to first look in the mirror and say, hey, you could do this, and then actually it not be a false start, which I went through so many times. No, I have the focus. When I say focus, I mean I'm able to stick with it and follow through and get through all these steps. I've done it now. We're doing it the 9th time right now, and I just need one more song, and we're done. And I'll do a couple extra, like I said, for bonus tracks. That's it. So I'm almost there. I wanted to share some stuff, and I've done that. I hope some of you liked it, and I'll see you soon.